Oh, here comes the vehicles. Clearly he tweets having had, shall we say, a nice long lunch. That's what I'm going to say.
With vodka.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So here come the vehicles. They'll be mostly new, I'm expecting, mostly wheeled, and there'll be sort of variants of 4x4s and what have you, all painted green. That's the T-34.
What are the cartoons on there?
Yeah,
Am I
don't
seeing
know.
that right?
Well, the insignia, I doubt they call them cartoons, but...
No, it almost, I need to get my eyes checked maybe. Because
So that was the
looked like
tank
that
the Battle of Kursk, one of the biggest tank battle in history in the Second World War. The T-34 was mass produced. It was crude and unsophisticated. The perfect thing to mass produce in a war. Reliable, small gun. Now they've obviously gone to town here because they've got quite a few of them. There's normally just one to make the point about the fallen, but they've got, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9-ish. There we go. They've really pushed the boat out here after the criticism in the last few years about there being no tanks. Do you want to hear a joke about Russia's 2023 Victory Day parade? No tanks.
The dad jokes are getting stronger.
So there's a lot of Tiger 4x4 vehicles increasingly being used up in Ukraine. We see Russia in Ukraine now using everything from gold. There's
there
Steven
he
Seagal.
is.
There he is, looking happy, thinking I gave up Hollywood for this. Tiger vehicles. We also saw a few. So that's a BTR 80. You can tell by the horizontal exhaust pipe, obviously. BTR Bronne transporter, a people carrier, effectively.
I hope there's no quiz at the end of this.
There is.
But see, look closer. What is that insignia then?
Yeah, I mean they do look strange. I don't know. Would they be affiliated to unit designations to certain old units?
Maybe we'll get someone on the YouTube.
Yeah, please let us know. So there's BTR 80. Crikey, it's moving pretty fast. I'm trying to call these out as I see them. I think that answers who ate all the pies. So that looks like a BMP-3, BMP Bojowa Maszyna Piechoty, and an infantry fighting vehicle. Mitchell asks, what are the chances, what are the risks of Putin being assassinated today by some of his own troops? Well, I think I have heard an anecdote, now that doesn't necessarily mean it's true because it's not been confirmed, but I heard that there was huge effort put into making sure that nobody on parade had any live ammunition, and in fact I'm not sure all the weapons are actually in full functioning order. So I think it would be extremely unlikely. I think the security detail around him would be very, very solid for that very reason. There's obviously the continued threat of Ukrainian drone attack. Drones have got through to Moscow in the last week. The airports were closed down, so yes, the airspace around Moscow is not absolutely secure. Some tanks at last. Let's have a look. T-80, I think, looking for the infrared lights. The boxes on the front, the big shoe boxes, that's actually explosive reactive armour. So basically, imagine a small box with 2 metal plates and a lump of explosive in between. So if a round comes in and hits the outside of that box, there is a blast, and it seeks to push the incoming round away as a means of defending the tank, so the round doesn't actually even get through to then hit the hull or the turret. So those explosive reactive armour, it's not an exact science, and a lot of them are empty, having been siphoned off through corruption and what have you, we are told. But you'll see a lot of turrets, the great Russian tank turret tossing competition, a lot of turrets lying around in Ukraine that still have all their ERA fully intact, so clearly not had any effect whatsoever. So that's what explosive reactive armour is. So they've really gone to town here, because this is many more tanks than they've had in the last couple of years. Obviously, the humiliation of a couple of years ago not having any tanks, they've absolutely clearly made it a priority for the last year to build up another BTR. Look at the exhaust pipe, BTR. Come on, Oksana. 80. MSTA, big 155 mil, 152 millimeter artillery pieces.
Well, and also Xi is here, so he needs to put on the show.
Yeah,
roll out
yes.
the red carpet.
Yeah, there's influence going on many levels here. We're not the only ones being subjected to Russian propaganda. President Xi is getting it by the spoonful. Yeah, so MSG, a big artillery piece. That's the view over St Basil's Cathedral, looking down into Red Square. So some car. Now I think is that the North Korean? God, it's moving around so fast. I thought it might have been the big howitzer, North Korea. Maybe not. Artillery pieces increasingly being tracked or wheeled. The old days of digging in artillery pieces, just as in towed artillery, T-O-W-E-D, towed, tow it, put it in position, let it do its thing. It's kind of over now because of counter-battery fire. With radars, you can tell where the round has come from. If the round isn't manoeuvring, if it's not a missile that can sort of maneuver through the air, if it's just a dumb bomb that flies on a ballistic trajectory, oh, this is a missile's eye view of hitting a Russian vehicle. A drone view, drone's eye view.
Looked a bit AI generated, that one.
A little bit, yeah, I don't think it actually happened. Yeah, if you don't move your artillery, then it can be susceptible to those kind of things. Drones, very quickly. It's thought today that you need to bring your artillery piece into action and out in 3 minutes, I've heard, but no more than 6 minutes, because counter battery fire can detect you and we'll put some munitions back onto your position. So they look like, so Shahed 136, or the Shahed variant of drone, is an Iranian drone that Russia is now building. They've got their own factories. They're building Shahed, the Shahed family, and calling them Garan 1, 2 and 3. Slightly different role for each, but that sort of very obvious wedge-shaped drone. They're Iranian Shaheds or
caused a lot of devastation.
Russian Garan. Now these are the Yars 24. Is that Yars 24, or is that no? I think that's a Pantsir. Sorry, S400 air defense system. Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's very
yeah. Yeah. So I think this is the S400 air defense system. Just check my big book of tanks.
This one looks heavy duty, Dom.
What, the book or the?
No, this.
Oh, right. Well, I've got to get it. That's the Yars 24. That's a nuclear missile. So I've got to find.
That looks like an important one.
Here we go. Hang on. I know, but here we go. So, the S400 Triumph and Pantsir. So the S400 is the kind of radar, and then the Pantsir. That was the Pantsir at the back of the air defense system. S400, known as the SA-21 Growler in NATO terminology. short-range surface-to-air missile. Okay, what have we got here? So armoured personnel carriers, you can tell, so they've got no big guns on. They've got that sort of, what's that, probably a 12.7 mil on the left-hand side there, which is, you know, putting up big old round, but that's not. That's primarily an APC battle taxi to get you into the fight. That is a Yars-24 nuclear missile carrying vehicle.
And is this kind of AI stuff new to the?
Yeah, I didn't see that last year. I mean, they've had a long time to prepare that. Yeah, that's a big old beast. RS-24 Yars. The missile system central to Moscow's strategic deterrent, says the WWII, the International Institute for Strategic Studies. Their big book of tanks. And there's some air defence vehicles at the back. Was that the new? Again, is that the Kurganets 25 infantry vehicle? Again, not in mass production. Oh, they're zipping around so fast. It's tricky to keep up.